F.M.P Radio. We keep it 100.
This is Gino Vee with F.M.P Radio Chicago. We are here live on Zoom with Steve Greenberg, the attorney for R. Kelly. How you doing, Steve?
I'm doing great. Nice, hot day.
Yes, it is very hot today in Chicago, right? One of the hottest it's been. And if you're from Chicago, you know it pretty much goes winter and summer, right? That's about all we get. We don't.
Road construction is now year round.
Yeah, road construction is another
season. Now
it's the season.
All year.
Yeah, that is so true. That is so true. But good to see you seem to be staying nice and cool. I see the view there. You got a nice little bar in the background, so you're staying hydrated, huh?
Well, if you in this line of work, you need it.
I hear you. So let's talk a little bit about R. Kelly and the fact that you are obviously on his legal team. Now, we've been hearing that there's two different teams, a Chicago team and a New York team. So can you tell us like what's going on as far as how the two teams are working together or how you guys are working to defend R. Kelly?
Sure. I don't know that there's two different teams. The goal is to represent R. Kelly. The goal is to win the cases. The goal is to do what's best for him. Right. He was indicted in New York and Chicago at essentially the same time federally. There are two of us from Chicago, Mike Leonard and myself, who are working on both the Chicago case and the New York case. There are two additional lawyers in New York right now, Tom Farinella and Doug Anton, who are also working just on the New York case. They're not at all involved in the Chicago case. Really, the focus, though, is the New York case because that's the case that's going to go to trial first. We have a trial date in September.
Okay.
And we're also interviewing for additional counsel for the New York case.
Gotcha. And speaking of that case, is that the one that we're being told is like the racketeering charges that they're bringing up and using the RICO charge, which is normally reserved for like mafia related or gang related issues?
Right. What they're saying, RICO's got a couple of different aspects. The criminal side has been used traditionally to bring down street gangs, to bring down, mob families. And the idea behind it was that people could no longer escape for ordering the hit and saying, I wasn't at the murder.
Okay.
Setting up the people, employing the people to sell the drugs and saying, well, I wasn't on the street corner selling the drugs. Right. So what it requires what they call predicate acts, specific acts you do in furtherance of it. So for instance, if you assist somebody in committing one of the underlying crimes, it was never intended for this purpose. What they've done in this case is they've taken the RICO law and they've said that R. Kelly, the superstar, was a racketeering enterprise. Wow. And that racketeering enterprise consisted of Robert Sylvester Kelly. It consisted of the roadies. It consisted of his management. It consisted of everyone who came to his concerts, basically. Everyone who did anything, which is just a complete, I'm trying to think of a word that I can use. Sure. Even on a cable kind of show. It's not what the RICO law was intended to be. It's a bastardization of the law.
Okay.
RICO cases have virtually no level of proof. While ordinarily they would have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the underlying crime occurred, in a RICO case, they just have to prove that you agreed to try and commit the underlying crime. So it makes it much easier for them. Right. And what they've done, I'm sorry to be so long-winded, but what they've done is they've taken a series of otherwise consensual or misdemeanor acts, for the most part, and said, we're going to elevate these into some kind of a felony offense. So for instance, they've taken some New York State misdemeanor crimes and said that these crimes are sex crimes. They're misdemeanor sex crimes. Okay. And the RICO Act just broadly refers to sex crimes. It doesn't differentiate between felonies and misdemeanors. So they're elevating these misdemeanors. It's like I said, it's a bastardization of the law.
Sounds like it. Yeah, it sounds like that could be, if they're doing it that way, that's almost any band or any music group that's out there. So,
for instance, Keith Richards. Keith Richards, and I love the Rolling Stones, and I don't want to rip on Keith Richards, but Keith Richards was dating someone who was 16 years old. She traveled with the Rolling Stones. This was, I believe, in the 70s or 80s, but she traveled all over the world with him, and he eventually married her.
Wow.
I can point out, I actually have a list on my computer of different bands where somebody in the band was hooked up with someone underage. Now, I'm not saying Kells did that.
Right.
And we're going to contest that. But I'm saying that really they could, just like you said, indict almost any rock band.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's what it sounds like from what you're saying. Yeah, and that's totally unfair. And speaking of fair, how are they treating him in there? We've been hearing that he's not getting proper treatment and he's not able to talk a lot to you or his team in particular. Has that changed in any way over the months? I know coronavirus plays a part, but is he being able to seek counsel? Is he getting a fair treatment in there? Do you know?
No, he's not at all. It's completely unfair. You said something about I had the bar behind me and I'm drinking coffee.
Sure.
Now, because we actually made a filing last night with the Second Circuit Court of Appeals at about 11:30 last night. We simply can't prepare for trial like this.
Right.
I have not, nor have any of the other attorneys, seen Robert face to face in 4+ months now.
Wow.
We get an occasional phone call with him. It takes weeks to exchange documents. There's no way you could do a case like this. It's like sending someone to do a Broadway play without having a single rehearsal. They're sending, a team into the Super Bowl as their first game. Wow. I mean, you have to have a chance to prepare. You have to have a chance to talk. You have to have a chance to ask questions, get answers. Right. And as long as he's in custody, that's just not going to happen. If we were able to meet with him, it's in a 10-foot by 6-foot room. How are you going to distance in there? How are you going to prepare with masks? We have to show him things. He's exposed every day to people in the institution. We don't know who they're exposed to. Gotcha. So for us as lawyers, it raises health concern. But that applies to everyone who's locked up. It's not just Robert. It's a terrible situation. Right. It's everyone who's in a federal penitentiary now or a federal jail right now is being treated as if they're in what we used to call the special housing unit, which is where you would go if you punched a guard. You're in 24-hour-a-day lockdown. You have no privileges. You can't interact with other people. You can't watch TV. It's an awful. It's cruel and unusual.
Right. And is there any reason for this? Like, what would be, in your opinion, the reason for treating them this way?
It's what they're doing because of the coronavirus across the board. Okay. So I can't say that it's him specifically. Gotcha. It's just that we have a trial date and not everyone else has a trial date. So one of the things we pointed out to the Second Circuit last night in our filing is that where people have had impending trial dates,
yes,
have been released to prepare for trial.
Sure.
Come on home confinement somewhere. And then there's other people, who get released because they're friends of the president, or who the heck knows why Avenatti got released. He's been convicted of a crime and he got released. People may, I'm sure there's some racial bias that goes into these BOP decisions.
Right. And having been able to talk to him, can you comment on like his mental state or his mindset while he's been in there, or during your discussions with him?
Well, originally his mindset was good. Obviously to go from being R. Kelly the superstar to being locked up in a jail cell is going to be a terrible thing, and it's going to affect you mentally. But he was strong. But when I talk to him now, I think despondent would be an understatement.
Sure.
Again, he has health concerns.
Right.
He was recently diagnosed. I know people said pre-diabetic. He's actually been diagnosed with diabetes. He's getting no exercise.
Wow.
He is contact with his girlfriend is extraordinarily limited. People listen in on the phone anyway when you're talking to someone like that.
Sure.
She can't come visit him. He hasn't had a visit from anyone for months. He gets quite upset when I talk to him. It's very uncomfortable for me because I feel helpless while we're doing everything we can. Obviously, we're not getting anywhere. We're not getting the results we would be hoping for.
Gotcha. And is there any specific reason why he's being denied? Is it bail or mail? Is denied?
He's being denied bail.
Bail,
yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, he's being denied bail.
And what would be your professional opinion on that? Why would he be not given that chance to come and consult with the team, like you said, how others have been released after even being convicted of crimes?
Well, I think that the public perception is so much worse than the actual evidence that's out there, what they're going to be able to prove. There was all of this propaganda machine of surviving R. Kelly. So he started out sort of public enemy number one.
Gotcha.
And let's face it, judges are humans. Judges are cognizant of the public perception.
Sure.
Some judges are strong and don't care about that stuff. Some judges do. I mean, a judge can essentially take the record and make it fit whichever way they want to go. Many times when you've got judicial decisions, what the judge will do before they write an opinion is they'll go back and they'll tell who's ever the clerk helping them write the opinion, look, this is where I want to come down on the issue. Go find me the law and write the opinion.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. Public opinion can be very strong. I'm certainly understanding of that. Now, speaking of public opinion, a lot of the public doesn't agree that Lisa and Cassandra are his sisters. Has that been confirmed? Obviously, there's no DNA test, but has that been confirmed by R. Kelly himself? Has he said that these are his sisters and that he wants them a part of his defense?
Absolutely. He has. They had reconnected before he was arrested. They were building that relationship, and he absolutely wants them to help.
Awesome. Yeah, because we're hearing a lot of that rumor, so we're trying to dispel these rumors. And what can the public do to help with this, or to help with his defense as well? Like, how can we put out there for people to help who are interested in offering that?
I'm going to leave that to them. I'm handling the legal aspect. I can tell you there's a lot of people out there who have been claiming that they are the right people to raise money.
Sure.
I get calls from time to time. I've got a couple of calls from people who have sent thousands of dollars to the wrong people. These are the right people. Okay. They're gonna get something going, and we're going to use whatever money we need to get experts. We need to have resources. Unfortunately, one of the saddest things about this isn't just that he's in jail, but it's that for his entire career, everyone around him stole from him.
Okay.
And it really left him, where he should be living in Bel Air as a wealthy musician, having sold millions and millions of albums and concert success. He was instead living in a small condominium in Chicago that he was renting. So unfortunately, and it's not a story that we haven't heard before, he doesn't have much in the way of resources. Any help that's out there would be appreciated.
Nice. Gotcha. And when is that trial you said set for that's coming up?
September 14th, we're supposed to start trial in New York. And as far as I know, that day's still there. We're going to use whatever money's raised to help the case, to help with experts, to help with the case together. That money is not going to the lawyers. Gotcha.
And that'll be strictly just for the case to help build what you need. Gotcha.
Help build the defense.
Is there, before we let you go, is there anything that you would like to add that I didn't say, or that can be of use to this interview and to anything future?
Not really anything I want to add. I know there's a lot of talk out there where people are analyzing what some of the so-called victims or witnesses are doing. It's unfortunately come back. It's one of the things the judge cites. Let these people go off and do whatever they want to do. They have a right to say what they want to say, just as other people have a right to say what they want to say back to them. And the judge, in my opinion, shouldn't be citing that as something coming back to Kelly. But let's try and keep it positive and supportive.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I think we all can agree with that one. So, we appreciate your time, Steve, coming on and talking to us about this. And, we look forward to the future, and we'll be monitoring everything, and good luck and Godspeed.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Steve.
F.M.P Radio. We keep it 100.